Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Vegans Across the World. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we are in Costa Rica. Ojochal. Is that what it's called?
That's right.
Okay. And we are with Coco, the vegan pirate. So, hello, Coco. Thank you for coming in today and talking with us. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And actually, we are two vegan pirates, my wife and I, and two dogs. So that's the vegan pirate squad.
The vegan pirates, not the
Yeah.
vegan pirate. Okay, I got you. So, what I'm going to do first of all is I want to share my screen with you, and we're going to show everybody where you're at, and we're going to give a little bit of information about the area. So, here we go, and let me know if you see that screen.
Yeah.
Okay, and there you are on the world map. We'll get a little bit closer here in Costa Rica, and you're in Ojochal.
Yeah. That's
Right
right.
there. Oh, nice. So here's some facts about Costa Rica. It's a rainforested Central American country. It's bordered by Panama and Nicaragua, with coastlines on both the Caribbean and the Pacific. It's known for its beaches, volcanoes, biodiversity, and over 500,000 species of wildlife. It's also known for what do you call that when you go from treetop to treetop on the swinging through there?
Canopy tour.
It's called
Zip
something
line. Zip line.
zip line.
Zip
Yes, I
lining. Yeah.
couldn't think
Zip
of it for
lining.
some reason.
Yeah. 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 That they
Uh,
they do it a lot here.
yeah, and roughly one quarter of its area is protected jungle with wildlife including spider monkeys and I don't know if I'm going to say this right, quetzal birds.
Yeah. Quetzal. It's
Quetzal.
it's kind of the national bird, but it's very rare. We haven't seen one yet. Just pictures, but it's a very beautiful bird. So
Oh, wow. So the capital is San Jose. It looks like you're just south of that, pretty much.
yeah,
Okay. And the country is smaller than Lake Michigan. So it's a paradise for hummingbirds, which would be a
yeah.
paradise for me personally. They are also the butterfly capital of the world. Again, paradise for me. The life expectancy there is better than many of the world's most well developed nations. They call themselves ticos or ticas
Yeah,
in Costa Rica. Most Costa Ricans don't have addresses, and there are very few street signs.
yeah, that's true. Sometimes
and
complicated.
pedestrians don't have many rights there. From what I understand, um, they say that Costa Ricans like to use their horn and not their brakes, and it's so bad that the Tico word for speed bump is son muertos, or the dead people.
Yeah, I know it. It's muertos, reducto muertos, but yeah, I mean traffic can be pretty nasty, especially in San Jose, which is a huge area. About 3 million people are living there
Yeah.
in the central region, and it's much easier down here in the south. It's very rural. It's very. I mean, there is a
Well,
costanera,
less cars, yes.
highway, a highway on
less
the
less
coast.
son muertos. So, from what I understand here, earthquakes are common, sometimes 2 to 40 per month. All of they're very small.
They are small. They go up to. We had a couple of days ago. We really felt it. We were sitting at the same table here having breakfast, and it was you felt it. It was 4.8 magnitude, I guess.
Wow. Yeah. So, what did the dogs think of that?
They didn't notice.
Wow.
So it's kind of a little. You feel it, but it's not scary.
Well, I
It's
suppose if you're not near any huge buildings like skyscrapers or extremely
yeah,
tall
they're
buildings, it's not
yeah.
as bad.
Yeah, they're
So,
very small buildings, everywhere. I mean, in San Jose there are some smaller skyscrapers, but here
Yeah.
it's mostly one or two stories.
Yeah. So, last of my trivia. They had a female president and they have no standing army with a population of just over 5 million people as of 2019.
Yeah.
So, that's my trivia about Costa Rica. So, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to get back to us. And I would like you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what do you do and what kind of activism are you involved in?
We or let me go back a little bit. My wife and I, we have a background in media production. We had a small video production company in Austria, and we worked way too much, but we always liked it. But when we got into scuba diving, we got into veganism and sustainable living, and everything changed after that. So we after this scuba diving experience, we both became vegan, and we said, okay, why don't we live somewhere closer to the ocean in a warmer climate and start over? So that's what we did. We planned it for 2 or 3 years. We checked out some countries before. Costa Rica was always one of the. It's kind of a number one expat location. When you Google where to go, where you can emigrate, Costa Rica always pops up.
Yeah.
And it's so we did our first vacation here in nine, in 2017, and yeah, we had the feeling that's it. We want to live here, we want to go here, and we planned all that. And in 2019, in mid 2019, we came over, and since then we are living here, and we still work in the little company. It wasn't that easy. I had a buyer for the company, but it got cold feet right away before we were leaving, I guess 2 weeks before. So it was all kind of a mess. We even thought about maybe, yeah, let's not do it. But we already had nearly sold all our stuff. We canceled the contract with the landlord. We bought a car already here in Costa Rica. So no, we said, okay, let's do it, and let's figure it out how we can find a solution. And it worked out, but we still work part-time for the company, and it's good because everything is taking very long here. So all until we found the right place. Um, and yeah, it's a long process. So we have this kind of security net. And on the other hand, and that brings me to activism, we could start with some projects we really love and we really like, um, away from this what we did before, because before we mostly worked for big companies, for yeah, business. So it always was a big business thing, and it was about money and pressure, deadlines, and yeah. Now it's different, and we did a nice documentary last year about a whale rescue. We learned to know some people, and it was yeah, it was kind of a coincidence, but it worked out pretty good. And we did a documentary about this whale rescue. We haven't been there ourselves, but we did the shooting afterwards. We did the editing. We got some material of the rescue, and we have now a 25 minutes documentary, which we tried to bring into festivals, and we already had some invitations, which is great. especially in the United States. We've been to San Francisco, and the next one in September will be in New York,
Wow.
which is very exciting. It's a big wildlife conservation festival. So yeah, we hope we can spread the message. The whales were entangled in fishing lines and fishing nets in buoys.
Now,
And
I don't want to interrupt you, but let's back up just a little bit.
yeah,
Let's talk about this project. So your activism here is using your skills that you
yeah,
have, and you're going to be very disappointed in my skills with
it's
with video editing.
no, it's very professional.
but but let's talk about that. So your
Yeah.
activism, basically, let's go ahead and skip ahead. How long have you been vegan?
For about 4.5, 5 years.
Okay, and then you moved to Costa Rica. How long ago?
2 years ago, nearly 2 years ago, in summer
So
2015.
So only a few years after you became vegan, you moved to Costa Rica and you get involved with what's it called? The Oceana Project, or what was it called?
The organization is Inocean. It's a
In Oceana.
non-profit organization from Spain, but they
Okay.
have always also some uh, kind of a, how to say, I don't know. It's a one chapter here, one in Costa Rica, one in Thailand, and the main basis is in Spain.
And it was you decided to get involved and to use your skills to make a documentary about a past rescue that they did of a whale
Yeah,
that was entangled off the shore of Costa Rica in fishing nets.
yeah.
Is that correct? Now,
Fishing lines mostly
fishing
with hooks
lines, yes,
and
which is a
buoys.
huge problem. People think straws are a problem. People think
Yeah,
plastic
yeah,
bottles and straws are a problem.
yeah. That's
The
funny. Yeah,
main problem is ghost nets.
yeah. It is
Yeah.
up
So,
to really in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It's about, they estimated 50% of all the trash there is abandoned or lost fishing gear.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what kills so much sea life.
yeah.
So, tell me, do you have any links that we can share on screen right now?
I can. I don't know how to share. Let me see.
You should
Yes.
have an option on the
Yeah.
bottom,
See it? Share screen.
and I just have to let it put it up on the screen.
Right
That's
there. Share screen. Window. This is from our website. It's a little bit info about the documentary about the rescue. There's some pics here, and yeah, some pictures of the making of. Um,
And
this
all the links to your website, all this information, everybody, I'm going to have below this video, so check that out. So can we go ahead and also look at the trailer
Yeah,
for
yeah.
your documentary?
I don't have the YouTube link, but it jumps to Instagram, and here we have it. It's
That's
only a small
okay.
link.
We want to see your Instagram as well.
It was a mess, all the situation, because we didn't know. We're not well rescued.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
it's only a small teaser, but I think, yeah, you've seen some of the scenes. It was actually a family of humpback whales which came to or coming to Costa Rica.
Yeah, it was a mother and her babies, right?
Mother and
Entangled
the baby
together.
were entangled, but there was also the father involved. So there
Oh,
were
really?
but the father wasn't entangled. It was just the mother and the baby was already. It was, I don't know how old, but it was very very small and it was exhausted already because of all the boys and the lines. They weren't able to dive anymore. They couldn't get down, so they just swam on the surface, and it was kind of an of a uh, I don't let me see the I don't get the word, kind of a coincidence that they found them. It was I guess actually a fishing boat did see them, and it was the uncle or the brother of one of the protagonists in the documentary. They have a dive shop in Drake Bay. It's a little bit south, and she got the info that there is this family and that there are two whales entangled. And yeah, she got a call, or she did a call to some of friends she did know, and they went out with a boat and tried to find the whales, and they did. But they weren't equipped. They were just normal people, not trained in rescuing. And normally it's not allowed to do that. It's not allowed to get
Because you're not
close to
supposed to
whales.
touch wildlife. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it was a kind of life or death situation, and yeah, they jumped into water, and they had machetes and kitchen knives and stuff. So yeah, really really difficult to to do, and they had no clue how to do it. So yeah, that's what's happening there. It was in summer or in I guess September or October 2019. We didn't know at this time. We didn't know anybody involved, but later one of the guys who were involved, Julian, was our dive instructor, and he was telling us the story back then, and that they are planning to make a documentary. And we said, okay, yeah, we are in. What can we do? We have this media production background. We have a little equipment with us, only small equipment, small camera and stuff. But yeah, what can we do? Let's make something. And first it was supposed to be 10 minutes, and then we did a 6 days shooting. So we went to Drake Bay. We did some onboard scenes. We did some underwater scenes, and we collected all the materials. We did interviews with the people involved, and yeah, then we collected all the material. And
Because they had filmed a bunch on their cell phones on their own,
they
right?
yeah they didn't have professional equipment on board, and they just had phones, cell phones, and even they didn't really get the final moment when the whales were free, because all the batteries died. All the batteries were out, so we had to kind of improvise. But it was, I think we did a really good documentary. As I said before, we already have some festival invitations, and the first festivals already showed the documentary. So it's a very nice piece of yeah, of work, I guess. Any
Well, I really, really hope to get a chance to see it when it does come out. And I got really sad there because just the thought of, well, first of all, how wonderful and heroic these people were, and happy I am that they freed that whale and her baby.
yeah,
But how very sad it is to know that there's probably thousands out there that weren't
yeah,
saved, that
yeah,
this happened to, and nobody knew.
yeah.
You
I mean,
know?
it's happening all the time, and it was just a coincidence that they saw it and they could do something. But yeah, if it's far more out in the open ocean, you will never know. Is it down on the? It's
Yeah.
happening. I know that there are different numbers. It's about going up to, I guess, 100,000 a year were killed, whales and dolphins and turtles. We had a similar situation 3 or 4 months ago, where they found a turtle endangered in the net, and they lost the flipper. They had to amputate the flipper, and
Well, obviously the turtle can't do much after that in the ocean. That is on their
yeah,
own.
it's okay. And they came to us to a rescue station and to a sanctuary, and they did the operation on the turtle, and they uh, put a normally they have only land animals, but it was the only.
Well, from
Uh,
what I understand, Costa Rica actually has a turtle sanctuary there, don't they?
yeah, there are some, but not in this area. Not in this area.
Okay.
There's a lot of conservation work is on the Caribbean side. Uh,
Okay.
Tortuguero up there.
You're on the Pacific side.
There is no sanctuary for marine animals, which is one thing which the organization in Oceana uh, is planning for the future, to have a little marine conservation center here in the area.
That, that's great. That's
So,
great.
yeah,
Okay. So that was kind of emotional.
yeah. I
But
know.
I'm glad you told us about that. That's incredible. That's incredible what you're doing, raising the awareness, that you're involved in something like that, that I hope will be well known as Seaspiracy soon. And that people start to realize that it's how animals are suffering,
Yeah.
not just on land, but everywhere,
Yeah.
by what we're doing. But okay. Whew. We will definitely give all those links for everybody to check out underneath this video. So I want to move on to my next question.
Okay.
You kind of told us a little bit earlier, where are you originally from? You and your wife?
Yeah. We are from Austria,
Austria.
Europe. Yeah.
So let me ask you, moving from Austria to Costa Rica, what is the culture what's the culture shock like? Is it different? What was the culture like where you came from, where as compared to where you are now? And
Yeah.
like food is involved in that as well. I've come to find out that it's pretty much the same the world over as far as how we use animals. But tell us your thoughts on that.
I mean, it's we have been on vacation before, two times, 3.5 weeks before we came here. But
Okay.
we tried to learn a little Spanish before, but my Spanish still sucks. Really, my might be better, but yeah, I talk a lot of German with still with Europe with the business there, and yeah, and we can use a lot of English here. So there are some people like a gardener or workers. They don't speak English, so you have to deal with them in Spanish, and so. But otherwise, you can. It's a good thing to get around with English. So that was one thing which was not that big of a shock. And the other thing is that it's quite different because in this area it's so rural. It's so there are not very much people around. It's a lot of jungle, and there's only the small highway down there. It's but all the roads up in the mountains or in the little villages, they are mostly dirt roads. So with gravel, there are some adventurous river crossings sometimes where you just go through the river because there is no
What
bridge.
What about the weather? Obviously, you're having a storm right now, which
Yeah, right
actually
now it's rainy season now, so
I'm actually enjoying it because I've been down to Mexico, and
yeah,
I love the thunderstorms that they have. I think it's beautiful. I personally enjoy it, but the climate change and all that stuff, it
yeah.
had to be.
I mean, it's changing here too because when we came here, everybody was saying from December until April it's dry season and there is no rain at all.
Yeah, it is
But it
changing.
even changed last year, and it pretty much changed this year because we had rain even sometimes in February, March. Not much, maybe just an afternoon or 1 or 2 hours, but it was rain here,
Yep.
and it's not that anymore like before. That it's 4 or 5 months. It's completely dry, and then the rainy season starts again, and it's now pretty strong sometimes. So it's May now, and we had some days, 2 or 3 days in a row where it was raining. Nearly not all day, but today it was fine. But now it's in the evening. It's just kind of normal that it's gonna rain.
Yeah.
And the other thing for us, it's we really love the climate here because it's all day. It's kind of between 25 degrees in the night and 28 max 30 32 in the dry season during the day. So it's
Yeah.
really, back in Austria we had these seasons. We had,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's
winter.
no seasons in Costa Rica,
No,
really.
and we love it. I mean, since I'm here, I don't wear
I
socks
I
anymore.
could totally live without
Yeah,
seasons. Of that's
yeah.
how I am too.
And,
I'm like I could
and back in
totally live
Austria,
without
we had winters like with temperatures down to minus 15, minus 20 degrees Celsius. So yeah, pretty cold, and that's the nice thing here because everything is growing all year, and
Yeah.
you have a lot of opportunities, and you can have your own fruits and your own vegetables, and that was one of the main reasons to come here, because we want to live a sustainable life in the future. We want to try to, I mean, zero waste is really difficult, but we try to have a low waste household, and yeah, we on our land we try to establish a permaculture, or we will establish a permaculture with a food forest, and with a lot of vegetables and kitchen herbs, and yeah, everything we need, and that's the plan for the future. So it will take some times, maybe 3 to 5 years until we can harvest, uh, but yeah, we did the first steps already, and this week was great because um, the last 2 weeks they cleaned a lot of our land. So there were grass and a lot of invasive bushes which don't belong there, and they cleaned it out, and now it's kind of a really nice slope, and yeah, they planted the first trees in the last couple of days, very small ones, but we will have bananas, coconuts, avocados, papayas, a lot of
Awesome.
exotic ones which we never really tried and heard about it. But yeah, we will see. So that's the plan for here, and we want to get experience with permaculture, and as a second branch, or I don't know how to say it. It's the thing that we want to do conservation work. So with animals, but also for the land, for the maybe to reforest, to rewild the nature there. It's a piece of land we have. It's about 22 hectares, so it's pretty big, and it's some parts are pasture, overgrown pasture, which was used before for cattle, or I don't know for what, but it's overgrown totally. And there are some jungly areas, and some creeks there, and one of a big part of the land, of the property, we want to keep just for the animals, for the wild. So we don't touch this land. We just have it to
Just
protect.
for their habitat.
Yeah, and we already released an anteater there
A
from
what?
an anteater, tamandu,
Antita?
anteater. Yeah,
I'm not sure what that is.
it's
Oh, an ant
an
eater.
anteater. Yeah, yeah, anteater.
Sorry, it was just my hearing. That's all.
Um, yeah, that's another thing we have in mind for our land, that it can be some yeah, wildlife refuge.
That wow, that's incredible. That's wonderful. I mean, that's almost like, having opening a sanctuary, but you're doing it for wildlife. Like
Yeah,
you're
kind
you're
of. Yeah,
giving them the space. You're giving them your space. Well,
yeah,
technically your space because you
yeah,
paid for it, but you're giving it
space.
over to them
Yeah,
to live.
yeah. Not
That's
not only the space,
wonderful.
we also try to bring back some fruit trees, for example, or
Yeah.
some herbs.
Well, that's going to help them too, you
Yeah,
know.
they can thrive
Yeah.
on that, because the problem is that yeah, they that's the interesting part about Costa Rica now, and back 30, 40 years, because back then in 1980, or in the 1980 years, only 25% of Costa Rica had uh, forests, had jungle. It was a big problem, because they cut down a lot of jungle and a lot of trees to make yeah, pasture for cattle,
Yeah.
and they sold the woods and stuff. And back then they realized, okay, we cannot move on like this, and we try, or we start to protect areas, and they started with the national parks back then. And right now it's back to nearly, or a little bit over 50%, that it's grown anymore. So we have this jungly areas again. It's not primary forest, of course, because that's gone forever, but it's secondary forest, and it looks good, it looks healthy, and a lot of animals can thrive there and can live there. And there are some animals like the macaws, the, the parrots, which
Yeah.
were nearly extinct, but you can see a lot of them back in the wild. A lot of them, they really, they stole the babies
Yeah.
to and
Yeah, to sell
sell
them
them,
in the States
yeah,
and
all
as
over the
pets
world,
and
and they nearly
smuggle
nearly
them and stuff like that. It's horrible.
and the population is back, and you can see, maybe especially in this area, uh, yeah, if you're lucky, you can see them fly over. Mostly they are in pairs, and they make a very distinctive sound.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's great. So nature can uh, or is coming back, which is good. But
Yeah.
there are still a lot of threats, and uh, there's a lot of, we sometimes say, kind of greenwashing,
Yeah.
because it's not all that green in Costa Rica. It's it's
Yeah.
it's the thing they sell to the tourists, and they sell, and the
Well,
government.
there's still corruption. One of the fun facts that I didn't include in the
Yeah,
beginning was that I think 95% of the cocaine comes through Costa Rica.
yeah, that's
So
it's a thing, and they
there's
have
good
their
and
point.
bad, but this
It's
is
true.
every country.
Yeah,
Okay, this is not to bash Costa Rica, which is obviously a wonderful, beautiful country. Every country has their good and their bad. So
yeah. I mean, good thing is, here in Costa Rica, it's a very high social security system. The public health system is very good. It's very developed, and a lot of tourists are coming. So they protect the land, because tourists want
because
to
they need
see.
the tourism. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And if you compare it, and I'm not sure if it's depending on not having an army, as you mentioned before. I'm not sure if it's related, because if you look at other countries, go south to Panama, or go up north to Nicaragua. I mean, Panama is pretty stable now, but it's kind of yeah. The USA is very percent there. They are
yeah,
they are there, and protecting the Panama Canal and all the stuff. and Nicaragua is kind of very unstable this time. So that's the thing with Costa Rica. It's as I said, maybe because
they're kind of
they
stuck in the
don't have
middle.
an army and they have police and all the stuff, but maybe they didn't engage in all these conflicts in the past 20, 30, 40 years, and that's why the country is very stable and is a good democracy, and yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why so many people, especially from North America, USA, Canada, or from Europe, are living here, and was one of the reasons why we did come here, because we feel safe. We never had a situation where we didn't feel safe.
So you told us that you've been vegan about what, 5 years? Did you say?
4.5, 5 years, yeah.
Okay. Uh, I wanted to ask you though. All right. So how long have you and your wife been together?
We are together since 2006, 7,
So
and
longer before you
yeah,
went vegan. So
yeah,
did
no,
you go? Did you go vegan together?
yeah, kind of, because
What
we
flipped that switch is what I want to know. What flipped that switch for
um,
you guys?
it was the vacation where we started scuba diving.
So it was
And
your exposure to sea life
yeah,
and
exactly. We That's the funny thing, because we almost considered ourselves as animal lovers, but
yeah,
we ate meat and fish,
yeah.
and we love to go to the zoo, to explore the animals there. We even have been to SeaWorld. And we thought, okay, it's nice to see the animals there. We didn't see the connections. We
Yeah.
didn't see that they are abused there. And it changed when we did the scuba diving certification. We
When you
started
saw
to,
them in the wild.
when we saw them, and we get to know to the problems the oceans are facing.
Yeah.
We learned about that. We engaged with sea shepherds. Um, we became volunteers for Sea Shepherd. We did some video work for them, and we even applied for going on a ship with them. But it didn't work out, because it was kind of a critical situation back then. We had to plan all our flights and all the stuff for Costa Rica, and we then withdrew our applications. But we wanted to go there for 3 months on a ship, and do this work, help the oceans, and so that all came together. And after the scuba diving experience, my wife was the first one who started completely with veganism, and I had this feeling I cannot live without butter or cheese,
Hmm.
and it took me another couple of months. Even eggs, even I had some eggs back then, but we mostly had the situation that I was cooking and she was doing groceries, and she didn't buy it anymore. So okay, and I adapted, and
She's
then
like, fine, keep cooking, but I'm not buying it.
and then she was starting to cook, because she got all these new cookbooks and recipes, and it tastes amazing. It was crazy, and yeah, I got drawn into it totally. And for me, so for her, it's about 5 years now, and for me, it's about 4.5 years that I'm vegan.
Well, I'm glad she got you on board, and I'm glad you
Yeah,
made that
yeah,
decision.
yeah,
It makes it easier for your relationship, obviously. And
yeah,
look where you
totally.
ended up.
Yeah, we sometimes talk about that, and saying we cannot think about that one of the partners is not vegan. How will you do it? And I
Yeah.
sometimes when we talk to other couples, or when we see it on I don't know, on Facebook or Instagram, that one is vegan and the other not, I, I don't know, it wouldn't work out
Uh,
for
I
us.
get so bothered. Like vegan groups are the worst, honestly, because half the people on there aren't really vegan; they're just plant based. But anyway,
Yeah.
And they all talk about food. That's all they ever talk about. You talk about animal rights, and they flip out. But you
Yeah.
see so many people. Where can you recommend my Omni husband get a burger while I get something plant based? Don't ask that here. That's
Yeah.
offensive.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you where to go where your husband can eat a cow.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want to tell you, you
Yeah.
know, but they see no problem with that. And I don't know how they live with that. I couldn't do it. I couldn't personally do it.
Yeah. It's. I mean, we often have this. There's this saying, "Sorry, animals. It took us so long, or it took me so long," because as I said before, we've considered ourselves as animal lovers, but we aren't.
Yeah. And
And
I've often said that
that's,
about myself. I thought I
yeah,
was an animal lover. I had no
yeah,
idea what I
yeah,
was paying for.
yeah,
You know, I thought I was until I found out
yeah.
that I was
And
paying
then,
for this.
yeah, there's no way back. We would never, I would never touch meat again. And that's
Yeah.
somewhat. Sometimes it's difficult when you. I mean, the situation here is not bad, but it could be better. Uh, but the biggest problem is when you travel. When you travel, it's sometimes really hard to get some vegan stuff. I mean, on the plane it's okay, but on the airport sometimes it's a smaller airport. You do not get anything. So yeah,
Yeah, but that's just when, you know, as a vegan, you just need to know to plan ahead for that. I mean,
yeah,
there's been times when I'm just eating, literally, I bought like cashews or something, and
yeah,
that's all I'm
yeah,
eating, or bananas,
yeah,
because there's
yeah,
nothing else to eat. But damn it, I'm not going to, you know, just buy anything. Besides, the airport always is overpriced anyway. $12 for a freaking
yeah,
sandwich,
yeah.
or you know, like a tiny meal, or I should say more like $20. But
Yeah.
anyway, but I want to ask you: are any of your family or friends vegan?
Um, yeah, family. My sister is vegan. I don't know when she became. Maybe after she always was very living very organic and had a lot of stuff in her own garden. But she bought chicken and stuff. But she 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 changed also. But I don't know. I can remember when it was. And we've
How
met
long? Wait
some
a minute. How long have you been in Costa Rica?
since nearly 2 years.
Okay, so was maybe the change while you were away, and you just don't know because of that,
No, it,
or
it was before, but it's
okay.
we've been vegan before she was, so it was sometimes after that, and yeah, we've made some friends here, um, so they there's a kind of vegan community already, which is cool, and we like, and we want to expand this community. I don't know where our journey will bring us, but maybe we can later use some of our harvests, vegetables and fruits, to supply a small vegan restaurant here in the area.
That would be great.
I
That would
mean,
be wonderful. Are you
there are
doing
some.
like a bed and breakfast type place, or what are you doing there?
That, no, that was the original plan. When we came here, we the idea was to start a little cabin business. That's nearly everyone is planning to do that because it's
Yeah,
kind of you can live in the jungle, or
that's
you
the
can live
dream.
in nature, and you can rent the cabins and will get a little money from it. But yeah, we didn't find the right property, and we even thought about maybe, okay, we buy some land and we built the cabins there, and we then had the feeling that it's 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 too much work, and we will. It was one of the moments when I was coming back from Europe. I was back there for some work, and I was coming back to my wife, and I was very stressed, and I brought all this stress and bad energy with me, and was like, come on, let's go, let's put this project in motion. And she was, like why don't we have to take care uh, with, with other people? Why do we really want to have other people coming and we have to deal with them, and to maybe we need some employees for cleaning the cabins or for providing breakfast and stuff. So we thought, okay, no, don't do that. Let's figure
Just
out
more work.
something different. And that was the moment when we started about thinking permaculture, and trying to grow our own food, and then maybe when we have a little experience, to give the food to others to sell it, maybe. Or in our case now, what always, which is always also a big thing, is to yeah, give it to the animals.
Yeah.
So just take what we need, and the rest maybe, yeah.
That really is awesome. That really
Yeah,
is, in a way, just like an organic sanctuary in its own right.
yeah. I
You
mean,
know.
it's still in progress, and we have to see. I mean, we have some money left from selling the company, but we just have to figure out how it's going with the budget, and we will need some income sometimes. In one or
Yeah.
two, 1, 2, 3 years, we definitely will need some income. So we have to see. But I guess, yeah, we can work with our skills from the media production background, or maybe we can sell some fruits or veggies from our farm. So we will see.
So let's move on to our next question. What I'd like to ask you: would you say it's easy or hard to be vegan where you live?
It's easy.
Easy.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of fruits and vegetables, and we can buy nuts and all the stuff. The only problem that we have is we just try to get some supplements for the dogs, because the dogs are vegan too, and we
So,
try to.
that's a question. Stop right where you are. I'm sorry. Recently, I had there's a vegan dog group on Facebook, and there was a woman from Mexico that was wondering how to feed her dogs vegan, because vegan kibble, of course, isn't really available or easily available, or even affordable if it is available in Mexico. So, why don't you give us a little information about what you feed your dogs? How do you feed your dogs?
Yeah, they are both vegans, and we brought one dog from Austria with us. It's a rescue from Hungary, and the other one is a real Tico. It's from here, but also rescued.
He's a
And
Tico, you said?
he is, and
That's
yeah,
cute.
they got along pretty good. And we always wanted a companion for our dog, and now, yeah, we have a couple, and they really are kind of, yeah, locos perros. And yeah, they mostly get two meals per day. In the morning, oats and zucchini, and yeah, some other fruits or vegetables. And in the evening, mostly, yeah, some tofu, silk tofu, mixed with other fruits and stuff, or potatoes, or pasta. Yeah, that's
And you give them supplements. What do you give them?
yeah. There's this VDOC product, and
Well,
yeah,
I feed my puppy V dog. So, but what are the? I mean, I didn't know they had supplements. Are you talking about you just supplement it with V dog, or?
that's the field of my wife. So I should
Get
ask
her
her.
on here now.
Yeah, yeah. We can try to get the package. Maybe
I
it's
would
a,
love to talk to you guys more about this later on,
yeah, maybe it's a
or your
different
wife.
brand. Maybe it's a different brand. It's not VDOC, but
Well, I
yeah,
mean, it could. It's possible that they have a supplement that I don't know about, or
uh,
you mean that she's just feeding V dog kibble, which I didn't know you can. Maybe you can get in Costa Rica. I know you. I don't think you can get it in Mexico, or it's
yeah,
extremely
yeah,
expensive to do so. Because I have actually, V dog has an incredible customer service. You could actually talk to a person if you call, and they're very attentive to you. And I have actually talked to them about getting it in Mexico, and I think they just, there's problem with distribution. There's laws. There's all kinds of like red tape sometimes. So it's not necessarily the fault of the company so much as there's just red tape, but or they can't make it affordable or something like that because of taxes or imports or whatever. But
Yeah, I don't know what the problem was, but we ordered it in Europe, and yeah, the customs or the health ministry didn't let it through. So
really,
yeah, and now we have to figure out what to do, and I already contacted VDog, and we tried to get some food here, but they are not really already in the country.
yeah.
So we have to see if it's possible to import it, to get it here, and yeah, otherwise we try to get in touch with a veterinary to, yeah, to
Yeah, you know
provide
what? This is
vitamins and stuff from a different side.
yeah, this is a whole other conversation to have.
Yeah. So for us, it's easy because we only supplement some B12 and some other vitamin, but yeah, for the dogs, we are a bit concerned
Yeah.
because yeah, they
Well,
cannot.
you just have to worry about L-carnitine and taurine,
Yeah, yeah,
and you might talk to a local vet.
yeah,
Again, this is a whole other conversation for us
yeah.
to
I
have,
know.
and
I
maybe
know.
we could have it another time because this is a very interesting subject to me because my dogs were on a plant based diet. My current dog
Yeah,
is, um, and I've been working with dogs for 15 years. I got a lot of pushback from every place that I've worked for that found
yeah,
out my dog was vegan his whole life, and he lived, happy, healthy,
yeah,
wonderful life until he was 15. And people always thought that, there was something wrong with me giving him a plant-based diet.
yeah, yeah,
So this is something I'm interested in because I've gotten a lot of pushback in the last 15 years.
yeah,
And so it is something we're going to talk again, my friend. You
yeah,
and me,
yeah,
Coco, and your wife. I want to talk to her.
yeah. I mean, it's funny because whenever you tell people the dogs are vegan or plant based, they kind of, okay.
No, no, they say you're an animal killer. They
Yeah,
say you're an
that's
abuser.
yeah,
And you know what? It's funny because you can feed them crap. It's just
yeah,
like being on a vegan diet
yeah, yeah,
yourself. You can eat
yeah,
McDonald's every day of your life and nobody questions where you get your protein or how healthy you are or feed your kids McDonald's. They don't care. You
yeah,
can feed your dogs crap, Beneful, some
yeah,
kind of like with all kinds of dyes and crap in it, and nobody flinches. But as
yeah,
soon as
yeah.
you say that you're feeding or eating a plant based diet, all of a sudden everybody's like, you're abusive.
I didn't experience that myself, but I meant people I know, friends or stuff. So they were the funny looks, but I had the same experience on social media
Yeah.
when you
But
drop,
that's what I
drop
mean,
some
actually. So,
stuff.
well, no, personally, because I work with dogs, but social media,
Yeah,
especially. Yeah.
yeah. Then you get crucified.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, the funny thing is that people who are feeding their companion animals or dogs or even cats a plant-based diet
Yeah,
probably watch their diets way closer than
yeah.
anybody else that just hands them a handful of
And
dollar store kibble.
it's the same with people
Yeah,
because people
exactly.
and then they always talk about B12 and vegans have to take care about it. Yeah, we take care about it. We do our blood work, and we know uh, what to look at. But how many people out there who are eating
Or
meat
even like
have a
looking,
B12
they don't know
deficiency?
where they're getting their protein until you
Yeah,
say you're on a
yeah,
vegan diet.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know,
That's
I didn't take B12 for the first 10 years that I was vegan.
yeah,
Well, you store it in your liver, and I didn't even really know about it until years later, and then I got tested. I was fine, but I decided, since I'm getting older and I have been vegan
Yeah,
for this long, I started taking it just as a precaution. It's no big deal. It's a
yeah,
couple of drops of liquid under your tongue.
yeah.
Bam, done.
Yeah, I mean,
You
there's
know.
we take some little pills, but we had a even
Well,
a
this is the
test.
funny thing is that the anti-vegans who are always going, you got to take supplements. That's not
Yeah,
natural, blah,
yeah,
blah, blah. Do
yeah,
you realize that you're taking supplements? Do you realize that the supplement and the vitamin industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and most of them are not vegan? So who
yeah,
are they selling them to? They're
yeah,
selling them to meat eaters,
yeah, yeah.
you
I
know?
heard recently. I guess I'm not sure if I'm correct, but 80% of all the antibiotics are going into animal.
Livestock.
Farming.
Yep, livestock.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
B12 is also injected into livestock,
yeah. I know.
and that's where meat eaters are getting their B12 is from
From
supplements,
from the supplement too.
you know,
Yeah,
just
it's great.
filtered through the animal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane. The logic. It's so
Yeah,
silly. So you said it was easy to be vegan where you live, but as a vegan, why don't you tell us what are the struggles besides what we just talked about, the dog food and stuff like that?
yeah. When you travel, that's one thing that you need some provisions to
You need to
go.
prepare. You need to
Yeah,
plan ahead. Yeah.
yeah. But the other struggles. I mean, we sometimes it's hard when you see people when you especially here there are many people working in conservation.
And you see them
Wildlife,
still
wildlife
eating
conservation,
animals.
ocean conservation, but they don't get the connection. They don't see it. They as you said before, they care about the plastic straw, but they
Yeah.
don't care about fishing. And I had a discussion recently with a guy uh, who claimed to live a more sustainable life than me because he's going out every day spearfishing. I mean, that is a sustainable way of fishing. No, of course, I agree
But the
because
whole world is not doing that. The whole world, if the whole world did that, it would not be sustainable, would it?
and he even kills an animal. He even kills a living being.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's for my potatoes, for my veggies, for my fruits.
Plants
Nobody.
have feelings.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Oh, and that's another thing. We're talking about where do you get your protein and people worried about that. As soon as you talk about being vegan, all of a sudden plants have feelings.
Yeah,
All of a sudden everybody's a plants rights activist.
yeah, yeah. That's funny. I mean, it's the good thing is that I have the feeling a lot of discussions are out. I mean, when you see or when you look back at the last 2 or 3 years with films like The Game Changer or
Hmm.
right now Seaspiracy, so many people are thinking about their eating behavior and changing it.
Yeah, the wheels are turning.
Yeah,
It's happening. It's happening.
it's happening. Yeah,
Slowly but surely, it's
yeah,
happening.
yeah,
Anybody out there that's watching this that is not vegan, uh, you're not going to win.
yeah,
We are going to win.
yeah. Yeah, hopefully,
The
hopefully.
animals are going to
Yeah,
win in the end.
yeah,
So, would you, all right. So, we've talked about like how easy, eating is a big part of being vegan because it's a decision you make 3 times a day, but it's more than that.
mm,
So, how would you say people view animal rights where you live? You kind of touched on that when you said you conservation and they're not making the connection.
I mean, it's difficult because it's still poor country, especially here in this area. A lot of people depend on cattle. That's the problem, and of course fishing is going on. Even
Any coastal area, you're going to have that.
yeah,
But I'm going to have to correct you a little bit there. When I was reading up on Costa Rica, actually, it's not a poor country. It's one of uh, the better off countries.
yeah, in Latin America it is
Yeah, yeah.
compared to our first world, where you are located, where we've been before. It's
But
sure.
I think that they sold their souls for the cattle industry.
Yeah,
That's probably
yeah,
where they make their money.
and there are some very bad connections with China going on. China is funding a lot of public transport. Even the new football stadium in San Jose is funded by Chinese companies, and in exchange they get fishing rights, and that's the big problem
Mm.
because a lot of small artisanal fisheries, they don't get anything, and that's always then the discussion. And that's are the poor people. That's are really the poor people.
That's really interesting conversation as
And
well
then
because
companies
I
come
didn't even
here.
consider that
Yeah,
they're buying basically buying rights
I mean
fishing in the
that's a big,
ocean.
it's a big decision because I think there are. I mean, for us, we often talk about this. Uh, for us, it would be great to stop fishing at all, but when you
Yeah.
are on a small island in the South Pacific, when you are on a coastal region in Africa, when you are on a coastal region here, and you're far away from yeah, there is no other possibility, or there are no supermarkets there, or you cannot afford to go into a supermarket. You depend on fishing. So that's about this whole imbalanced thing, because there is so much fish worldwide is caught, and is getting into the first world, and is getting into feeding cattle and feeding livestock, and I don't know, making oil out of it, and that's the problem. That has to stop in the first place. And I mean, I know it's difficult because my wife and I are often talking about it, and she said no, they don't should eat fish at all. And okay, I get it, and I feel the same. But we always have to consider the situation, um, in that the people are. They kind of yeah, they depend on it. But uh, the small
Well,
fishery,
the reason they depend on it is because it makes them money, and another reason is because of tradition.
yeah,
And
I, I
they
I
don't
know.
know other ways because I mean, I can understand, but we're not out there. 90% of the population are in these situations, I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
And also 90% of all this, you know, food, so-called food, it's not food, they're animals, is going to feed livestock, feed
yeah,
fat ass people in the United States or Western country.
yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that maybe, but
Yeah, it's true.
I get a little
I
emotional when
feel
it
the
comes
same.
to
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah,
And there are people in poor countries that are living primarily vegan, primarily, and
yeah,
maybe they do have a fish or two, um, but that's not where 90% of this is going.
yeah.
And people need to stop using that as an excuse. Like, you
Yeah,
can't.
I know.
That's the whole reason I started this series.
Okay. Yeah, I
And
mean, I guess it's often it is an excuse, but there are still some, in
But we're not talking to those
Greenland.
remote tribes in the middle of the Amazon. We're not talking to them. We're talking to people in the cities. We're
Yeah,
talking
that's
to people that have computers and cell phones. We're talking to people that go to the grocery store,
yeah, yeah.
you know?
This kind of perversion when you see that in Japan, uh, certain tuna is worth, I don't know, hundred hundreds of $1,000,
Yeah,
and or this yeah, that's the perfect thing, and that
yeah.
that has to stop, and yeah,
It's money. It's all corruption. It's
Yeah,
all money. It's
yeah,
not ethics. There's no ethics to it.
yeah,
There's no ethics, and we need to survive to it. We're
yeah,
not talking to those people. We're not
yeah,
talking to those people that are starving, living on the shore. We're not talking to those people.
yeah.
Anyway, woo! This is a deep conversation with you, Coco. I like you. You're a cool guy. So, let me ask you, what is your favorite form of activism?
Favorite what? Favorite?
Form of activism for the animals. What's your favorite form of
Um,
activism?
I mean, yeah. With our background, I guess, and that's one thing Paul Watson from Sea Shepherd said. The biggest weapon is the camera. So I think that's a really good thing.
It's
Uh,
very powerful in this day and
yeah,
age.
and but on the other hand, I have to say we cannot do that much activism. We cannot, or we don't want to travel. We focus on here. We focus on doing little steps here in the community, here on our land, providing, as I said before.
Well, you're doing basically something you're not pointing out is um, you're doing activism online.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I try to convince other people to spread the message.
I mean,
To
you contacted me. That's how this happened.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So that's activism right there.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
spreading the
yeah.
message. You know.
For me, sometimes it's kind of the feeling. Yeah, you should do more. You should go out on the
It
street
always feels
to
that
the
way.
troops, or you should do that. And I mean, I really admire these people who are rescuing animals out of factories or slaughterhouses, or stopping trucks and feeding the pigs or the cattle on the truck. And uh, I really admire that. But
Yeah.
for us, it's, yeah, we are we are
Sometimes it's just not possible for everybody. As long as
yeah,
you're
and
doing
we far
something.
away from this. We would have to travel very far to do that. And yeah, we want to establish our own little refuge and sustainable, uh, yeah, vegan paradise community stuff around here. And yeah, try to spread the word here. And I don't know, when it's possible, when our land is ready, maybe we can take in some rescued animals, not only wildlife, but yeah. They A couple of days ago, I saw a post. There was a pig um, who escaped the slaughterhouse transport. It jumped off the truck, and now it's in a sanctuary, and they're looking for a space. And I
Yeah.
mean, it would be perfect on our land. It could
Yeah.
thrive there. It could live there happily ever after. And right now, it's not possible because
Yeah.
we just get the land ready.
Don't take on what you cannot handle, because when people do that, they mean well, but you're
Yeah,
not doing the animal a favor if you're not prepared to
yeah.
handle the
So,
responsibility.
I don't know. In 1 or 2 years, we are ready for that. We can do that. Another thing is
And
we keep,
once that happens, you're going to have more than more than you could
yeah,
want.
I think so. We're thinking maybe taking in some more rescue dogs. There are a lot of dogs in Costa Rica strolling around on the beach and in the villages. So there are some organizations already doing great work. But
Are
I
they
think,
doing initiatives to fix the dogs to
yeah,
get them
yeah,
neutered and
yeah,
spayed?
they do. But sometimes there's this feeling where to start.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
I know what you mean. I know what
yeah,
you mean.
but yeah,
Well, it's overwhelming when your eyes open
yeah, yeah,
to all the ways that we are exploiting animals. When your eyes finally open to that,
yeah,
it can be overwhelming. It's just in every aspect of our lives that we didn't realize we are exploiting animals, and how many ways that we could save them. But any little way that we can contribute to doing that is important.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So we're getting to the end here. If a vegan visits where you live, tell me where should they go, and that does not have to be a restaurant. Tell me where it could be, but it doesn't have to be. Where should they go?
What we really like in this area is, and it's one of our favorite beaches here, is Playa Tortuga. The
Playa
Tur-
Tortuga, which is the
Playa
Turtle
Tortuga,
Beach.
Turtle Beach. They have really some turtles coming here to lay their eggs. There is a little
Aw.
station there who work to protect the eggs, to protect the turtles, which is great. And it's a very nice and not crowded beach. So sometimes there are no people at all, and there are some very cool rocks. One rock has the formation of looking like an elephant, and it's very kind of a little, out of the movies scene, a little pirate. Yeah, little pirate island or beach. We often talk about, yeah, there could be a treasure somewhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Well,
that's what
the
we
tortugas, la tortugas, are the treasure. So,
yeah, they certainly are. Yeah.
so okay. So, tell me what's your favorite vegan dish they should try when they come to Costa Rica.
I mean, they eat a lot of rice and beans here. It's kind of a traditional thing. So that's mostly, or it's vegan when you don't put some meat on the side, but a lot of little bistros and restaurants are starting or operating since 1 or 2 years with very good vegetarian, at least, or even vegan options. And we have a little place up north in Ovita. It's called Indomitos, and they have a vegan omelet. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's filled with nuts and vegan cheese.
Ooh, that
Or
sounds good.
they have a vegan burger there with yeah,
What's
black
it called
beans.
again?
Indomitos.
Intomitos.
Indomitos. Yeah, it's a really nice place, and um, so that's one of the restaurants we are often there.
Awesome. So, okay, so how can people get involved with the local vegan community if they come there?
I mean, there is not really um, the community. I guess is not really established. So
Okay. Just
they could try get in contact with us.
okay.
we can
Well,
we can
we'll
hook
give
them up
them we'll
with
give them
some.
links down
Yeah,
below
yeah.
how to do
I mean,
that. They can help out and
yeah, and there are
live in
some.
paradise for a few days.
When we came here for vacation, we used Happy Cow, for example, the app, and tried to find our way through restaurants and stuff. But yeah, it's growing. It's not established really,
Okay.
but we know a lot of vegans. We know a lot of people living
Well,
vegan, but
I have a feeling that you're going to be the one to establish that.
we are working on that. I
Yeah.
mean, we want to find a way to get this dog food into the country, because a lot of vegans here, our friends and people we know, they have dogs,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, they are in the same situation. Most of them feed them normal food because
Because they don't have a choice. Yeah.
they don't even, yeah, they don't have a choice, but they sometimes they don't even know it.
Well, or yeah, it doesn't occur to
So,
them, or they
yeah,
don't know how.
yeah, yeah. You
They,
have
they
to
have
come
lots of
to them
fears. Yeah.
and tell them, hey, have you thought about feeding the dog a plant-based diet? Why? Why? Yeah, it's a good thought.
What?
That,
Where would they
that's
get their protein?
yeah, yeah. But it's the same. It's the same here. Uh, we have to educate people.
Yeah.
and that's one field we want to focus.
Maybe
Not
that's why that you know what? Maybe that's your purpose there after all. You're going to start all that organically. You're going to start from the bottom and you're going to build
yeah.
that community up. You're going to educate people. Maybe you could become an education center.
I don't know. We will see.
Just
That's
an idea. I'm throwing it out
that's
there. I don't know.
something, we've learned here. I have learned here that you have to be open for the things that are happening.
That's
So
wonderful.
when you are too focused on one idea, you maybe uh, yeah maybe you will struggle too much and not find the right way. But when you are open and yeah, kind of navigate through, I think then it will work out. And for us, in the last 2 years, it worked out pretty well. So we're on a good way.
I see great things happening.
Yeah.
I do. I do. So tell me, finally, where would you like to visit one day and learn about veganism there? Obviously, you have traveled, but where's a place that maybe you and your wife haven't traveled that you would like to go and learn about veganism there?
Ooh, it's difficult. I mean, there are these camps I've heard, vegan camps in Europe. I don't know if they have it in the USA.
Vegan camps?
Yeah, vegan camps where kind of a like a music or
Oh, there's a vegan camp out in the UK. It's coming in August.
yeah, yeah.
You
So
want to go to
I
the
think
vegan camp
that's
out?
pretty awesome. Maybe having these little stands with information from, I don't know, sanctuaries and food and stuff, and maybe you have some speakers there. Um, so
So
yeah,
basically, you would like to go to a big vegan festival, is what you would
yeah,
like to do,
yeah,
no matter where it is.
yeah. I mean,
Did you
maybe
know that the Animal Liberation Conference is coming up
yeah,
in
I've heard it before. Yeah,
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 yeah.
I've heard
It's
it.
coming up September, I think,
Denver, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
and
But
it's in
where is
California.
it?
It's not too far
Ah,
from you.
California.
Maybe you can make it there. I don't think I can because I'm trying to make it down to Mexico myself.
Okay. Yeah, for us, it's. I mean, one thing is we don't want to travel too much. You know, carbon footprint and all the stuff, and yeah. So that's always the thing.
Get your scuba gear on and start going up the coast. You'll make it there in
Yeah.
time if you start tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, work it out. Or sit in a little kayak or a little boat and
Just swim up there. Just swim.
sail up to California.
All right, Coco. You know what? It is getting a little bit late. We've been on here for a
Yeah,
while, and I've had a blast talking to you.
yeah, it was really nice.
It was. I'll be honest with you. It was an emotional roller coaster for me. Some of the stuff that we talked about, and a really amazing conversation. And I'm so very grateful that you did contact me and that we have had a chance to talk and meet and I hope I get to meet your wife someday. Maybe we'll talk again about some of the subjects. We'll revisit those.
Yeah,
But again, to everybody that's watching, the links to your social media, ways to contact you, your documentary, everything will be included down below the video.
yeah,
Everybody,
yeah,
I want you to like, subscribe, share this video
yeah.
um, if you haven't
Whenever,
already.
yeah, and whenever someone is planning to come to Costa Rica, yeah, just send a message and we can hook you up with maybe with some tips where to go, where to eat, where to sleep. There's even since 1 or 2 months they opened up a vegan hotel in Tamarindo. So
Nice.
it's totally vegan. We haven't checked it out yet, but it's the first one here in Costa Rica, and there are a lot of retreats, sustainable retreats, where you can always get at least a plant-based meal.
So, again, anybody watching the Vegan Pirates, check them out on Facebook, Instagram. I'll leave all the links, anything in social media that they want me to share will be down below, including the documentary that they are doing, and it's going to be showing soon in a couple of cities in the U.S. I do hope that I get to see that documentary. It looks
Yeah,
amazing. I
it will
was
be,
emotional just from a few seconds of it. So, and just
it
from
will
talking.
be online at last end of the year. We just
Okay,
try to get into some festivals before, and
sure.
yeah, then we go online.
Of
So
course, of course.
yeah,
You know
I
what,
will,
Coco? Thank you so much. You guys, you and your wife, thank you for all you're doing. Thank you for being on here tonight and spreading awareness where you're at. And please, let's keep in touch because, damn it, I'm coming down there. I'm
yeah.
coming down there. You're going to regret it.
No, I give you a jungle tour.
All right. I'm going to
Yeah,
say goodnight to you.
thanks for having me, and yeah, thanks for doing this. It's great to give this opportunity. I guess to I hadn't the time to check it out, the other features before the episodes you already did, but I sure will. And yeah,
Well, I'm
how
still a
many how
small
many countries?
channel, but growing steadily. So, as long as, like, hopefully anybody that's been on there is going to get some exposure,
Yeah,
and we will build a vegan world together.
yeah, absolutely. How many interviews did you do before? How many people?
Um, so far
Yeah,
online, these are pre-recorded. Everybody, spoiler alert. So far online, I have 12, but I have several more. You being one of them that
yeah.
are pre-recorded and will be going out. So it'll
So
continue every week. Every Wednesday, they show. I will show a new interview on my channel. You know what? I'm doing my outro with you. That's okay. We'll do this. Everybody out there watching, you want to know who I'm going to have next week? You're going to have to show up. Every Wednesday, I have a new interview with a vegan from across the world, and they are doing incredible things. So just, I hope you join us. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff. Check out all the information below. All right, you want to say goodnight to me? Goodnight to everybody with me. This is how I do it. I go, love ya.
bye bye.
All right, bye.